first move, we're going to call this the 3-beat weave, and this is actually from something called toy. You'll see a lot of chuckers do this. Matter of fact, when you see double chuckers, a lot of the videos, you'll notice that this is pretty much all they do. They'll add some strikes, they'll add some bounce patterns, and then they'll 3-beat weave really fast. They'll add some clutches, clutch, 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 clutch. And then they might do some bounces, and then they're back to their 3-beat weaves again. I'm going to show you how to do a 3-beat weave. I'm going to stand with my right hand's going to lead this battle, and it's going to swing. My right hand is going to move counterclockwise, like so. Now, if you remember it, when you're only using one chuck, the figure 8 is a very simple move. It's like this. Boom, boom, right? A 3-beat weave is something like a figure 8, except for we add an extra circle. That's why they call it 3 beats, because you're actually making 3 circles as it crosses each time. I have a spider on my wall. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. It creates 3 circles. So, oh my god, he's back. Hold on. And this is what we're going to work on. This is not an easy move to start with, but it is the core move for most double nunchucks. So, what we're going to do is our right hand is going to go counterclockwise, and it's going to swing across to our left side, like so. Okay? So, this is going to take some practice, so just practice this part. Swing across, like so. Now remember, we're going to think in terms of a clock, okay? Right now, I'm not going to go very fast. Remember, this is 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So my right hand swinging, whoosh, it's just like the figure 8. We're down below here. Now, my right hand's going to carry itself up to 12 o'clock, and this is going to start the circle. Essentially, what's going to happen is every time that my right hand moves, my left hand is also going to follow and across that same thing. Think of it like a clock, for instance. If my right hand's at 12, left hand should be at 6. And as it goes across, they should be fairly parallel towards each other. This is what's going to create the symmetry, of course, which is going to create the circles, as you can see. So my right hand's going to slash across. See, it's going to cross my left, slash across, and then it's going to lift up to about 12 o'clock. So it's rotating now, right? It's getting rotation. Once we hit about 12 o'clock, my left and my right hands are going to move together. Boom. So now we're at 9 and 3, 12 and 6. Now watch what happens. This hand is going to slash across to the other side, whoosh, like so. And this hand is going to follow. It's going to follow very slowly. So, again, we're swinging, we cross our body, both are down low right now. This pulls up to about 12 o'clock, and then the rotations start. Boom, boom. This comes across to the other side now, and this is going to follow it underneath. And now our arm is going to unwind. So this is going to come up, now this is going the opposite direction. Now notice I'm not going very fast yet. And notice also, as one hand moves, the other one moves in the opposite direction. So I'm going to 12 o'clock, I'm talking about my left hand now, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Now my right hand's taking over, and it's going to swing all the way over, and the left hand's going to follow it. And then we're going to do the exact same thing that we did before. We're rotating again, this direction, and once we hit 12 o'clock, our hands are going to move over. It's really tricky. Like, I tried to break that down as much as possible into a crosswords motion, but essentially, the most important thing, I think what happens where most people mess up is they chase it. So as soon as my right arm swings over here, both of their hands are moving at the same time, and you can't have that to happen. That's why you want to do it really slowly. You swing it over, and then you kind of give it a little bit of a lift until both parts are like opposite ends of the clock. And then the clock winds until you are just about ready to be done, where you can't wind much more, and then it crosses. And then it unwinds exactly in the same way. Boom, 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 and it's starting to cross over, and then this will follow, and then it's going to wind again. Always remember, if you think about a clock, no matter how your hands are moving, they're almost always on opposite ends. That's the best way to think about this. So think about a figure 8, as you're doing your figure 8, and then all of a sudden, add your other hand in with that figure 8, And now go very slowly as this comes down. This isn't ready yet because both hands are in the same place. We need to wait until they're in opposite ends. Boom, not yet. Okay, now they're in opposite ends. Boom, boom. This is going to start slashing across. Shoo. Okay, we can start here. If you follow the clock, it's perfectly okay. As long as you're, again, at opposite ends, we can wind it all the way over here. Just remember we have to eventually carry it over. In fast motion, it looks like this. That is a really popular move, and I may go over that one again. One more move I want to show you, which is an extremely popular one too, is a figure 8 wrist roll that uses alternating hands like so. Now, my shoulder isn't perfect yet because, you know, I have an injured shoulder, so this won't look perfect, but you get the idea. This move is actually just a figure 8 wrist roll. You're just doing a figure 8 wrist roll, like so, but you're doing it with both hands. So we have figure 8 wrist roll, right? So the question isn't if you can do it or not, because you probably should be able to do a figure 8 wrist roll if you've been following along with our videos. The question is when do you do the other figure 8 wrist roll? So focus on your weakest hand and see if you can just do a figure 8 wrist roll while standing frontwards. It should go in front and behind the body. In front, behind, in front, behind. Right? As soon as you can feel like you can do this automatically, your figure 8 wrist rolls will actually be much easier. It's always about that weaker hand that your brain will get caught up on. So make sure you practice this first because you want to be able to do this automatically. Now, once you've done that for about 15-20 minutes, you're going to practice with your right hand, which you should probably already do. Now watch this. Do you notice how my hips kind of swing with it? This is actually going to help because as my hip sways this way, it makes me want to pull this direction. So as soon as this goes behind, this one's going in front. And then as soon as this one comes in front, that one comes behind. Boom, 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 boom. It takes a little bit of timing. If you can't do it, just start doing one figure 8 wrist roll. And the moment you swing it back, this one's swinging forward. So remember, use your dominant hand to start with over here. Boom, boom. Swings back, this swings forward. And stop and try it again. Forward, backwards. Forwards, backwards. Get ready. Forwards, swing it. Boom. Okay? If you have problems, practice it with just a figure 8 without the hand roll. Just practice it with the figure 8 without the hand roll. Right? And then use your other hand and just try to time it without that hand roll. Alright, there's one more I want to show you. It's pretty easy. It's pretty fun though. Spin them both against each other. What I mean is my left hand is going clockwise, my right hand's going counterclockwise. See if you can slowly bring them together. This is called a butterfly. This is actually a poi move. Figured we'd do a little bit of poi anyways. This is a poi move. Bam, right here. The trick to this move is actually one hand is slightly higher than the other. So as they cross paths, they're actually barely missing each other, which causes them not to hit each other. The best way to time that is to keep them far away and to give them a slight upward and downward motion. I slowly pull it closer towards me until they meet, and then I hold them together. Oftentimes when you first practice, they might clash into each other like that. That's just because your timing's a little bit off. Your timing will be off if the bounces aren't happening at the same time. One way that you can get your bounces to coordinate is when your hands join, you can actually lock them together. Do you see? My hands are actually touching each other and locked together. They actually should not touch when they're locked together because they're moving at the exact same speed. This one's going to cross first, this one's going to cross second simply because my hand's higher. Now if they're at the same exact place, they may crash, but if we keep one slightly higher than the other, they should not crash. Now one nice thing that you can do with nunchucks that you can't do with poi, unless you have very special poi, which they do exist, is you can do hand roll and back. You can do, it's a front-to-front hand roll. Research the front-to-front hand roll. And once this goes down to about 6 o'clock, you can open both hands and bring it out. It's not a perfect move. I don't do it too often, but it's pretty cool. So you're like butterflying, and we can move it a little bit, and then whoop, back. That's all I got for now. There's a lot of double moves that you can learn, but just play with those for now. Especially get that 3-3 deep down, and of course there's always the reverse, and then we can add hand rolls and all kinds of other good things. Enjoy!